It shouldn't take a tragedy like this to occur. Unfortunately, one did, and so we are calling on action, but there clearly were indicators where safety trending could have occurred. Fortunately, we have a secretary in place that is taking safety very seriously, but it shouldn't take a tragedy to require immediate action.
Matthew Whiz Buckley, Navy Top Gun graduate, FA-18 fighter pilot, and former American Airlines pilot, joins us now to break down this preliminary report. Whiz, good morning. Glad to have you on once again. Let's go back to what she just said. There were clear indicators over the last several years. How come no one said anything when they came up?
Good morning. It's absolutely shocking to hear an NTSB chairwoman use the words intolerable risk. Aviation is a self-cleaning oven. If everybody's doing their jobs, things work great. If people don't do their jobs, tragedy strikes. As you can see on the screen, 75 feet of clearance. If there's a helicopter at the top of that Route 4 and there's somebody on final to runway 33, you need absolute perfection. But as you and I discussed earlier with this mishap, there was altitude discrepancies in the cockpit. One pilot was saying, hey, we're at 300 feet. I believe the instructor pilot corrected her and said, no, I think we're at 400 feet. So we have this multi-million-dollar Black Hawk helicopter with altitude issues and 75 feet of clearance. This was just a recipe for disaster.
Okay, so whose job was it then to look at those indicators over the last 3 or 4 years, the thousands of times that things like that, the near miss happened? Whose job was it to say, hey, something needs to happen here? Because a week after this accident, you were on here talking about, hey, this doesn't look right. When this is going in this zone and this one's coming here, to a layperson that has no aviation background, I knew looking at it, our viewers knew looking at it, that didn't look right. Planes coming in and helicopters going up.
Another saying in aviation, complacency kills. So we had 3 years under the previous administration, the FAA director. I remember the Biden administration nominating a director for the FAA who didn't even know how a wing worked, right? So complacency kills. It was kind of a culture of, well, nothing bad has happened yet, so let's just keep operating this way. Sadly, in aviation, we don't like to say, I'll just say we say the rules and procedures are often written in blood. Something bad happens, and then we have to knee-jerk reaction say, okay, well, we have to stop doing this. But let's go back to what you and I talked about day one of this mishap. First day of flight school, your flight instructor is going to tell you, don't hit anything, either in the air or attached to the ground. Especially in that DC environment, you have got to be eyeballs out of the cockpit because everybody's trying to kill you, including you. So this is the ultimate failure of the pilot in command, the instructor pilot, and the Army helo to see and avoid. They didn't do it. And as you alluded to, that air traffic controller on his screen saw 2 contacts going right towards each other, co-altitude. I don't care if the pilot told me I have that traffic in sight. I'm going to give what we call a sugar call, a follow-up call. Pat 25, confirm you have traffic, left 11, co-altitude, a mile, acknowledge. That would have really woke up the Army crew and said, whoa, we actually have the wrong airplane in sight. This is 100% pilot and a little bit controller error.
Matthew, if you're the attorney for one of the families that had someone on that plane that died, are you chomping at the bit hearing this information coming that there were warnings in the past regarding a situation like this and, of course, ultimately ended in their deaths?
I can't. Just the amount of empathy and compassion you have to have for these families. When you're a family and you start hearing all of this, that this was 100% preventable. If there was a mechanical issue or an act of God, maybe it might assuage some of your pain. But to know that this is absolute malice, absolute error, and things were ignored for years, I'd be furious. So yeah, if you're the attorney and as an American taxpayer, my God, we will do whatever we can to help these victims grieve, because this is 100% preventable.
Yeah, there are reports that there are lawsuits filed right now at the government because of that accident. Whiz, always a pleasure. Thank you for your insight, man. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
Well, listen to this.